The Canon HF20 or HF200 in the WP-V1 case is currently the only dedicated 1080 video camera setup in the same manufacturer underwater case that will work at the recreational dive depth limit. Other combinations with similar performance are about double the cost, and most are much higher. There are limitations to this setup. Only a few of the camera's functions can be controlled when it is in the case. Special waterproof cases for remote controls are available for some cameras, but I doubt that one is for these. The underwater mode works well enough for shallow scenes. Deeper shots can be corrected during editing. The purpose of this video is to deal with a problem that can be overcome. Refraction with underwater camera ports reduces the field of view considerably, making the use of a wide-angle lens or domed port a practical necessity. This case is lightweight and buoyant to begin with, and adding a wide-angle lens throws the camera case off balance so much that it's extremely difficult to hold steady. I noticed this effect the first time I used it, but did not realize how serious it was until I saw the results later. For these mods, you'll need some polycarbonate sheeting. 1/2 inch was the thickest I could find in small amounts and works for most of the parts. 3/8 inch tubing with 1/8 inch ID can be ground down slightly to make the posts in the handle. Polycarbonate glue is used to laminate parts to make thicker sections and is very strong when set. You can drive a screw into the seam where two pieces have been laminated and it will not split them apart. The areas where the handles will be mounted are curved. This requires hand fitting, and a thicker glue will be necessary to fill the slight gaps and provide a strong bond. I was given a sample of Extreme Adhesives 310, a methyl methacrylate compound that takes significantly longer to set up and dry than indicated, but it is strong. It's a two-part mixture similar to epoxy. A plastic saw blade makes sawing thick parts fast and easy. Make sure to use only stainless steel screws and hardware. Sand and polish the plastic pieces to keep things from looking too hacked. The WP-V1 has one handle located on the right side. Correcting the imbalance will require moving the handle as far forward as practical and counterweighting the rear of the case. Adding a second handle to the left side will help steady the camera. The tripod mount is located too far forward to counterbalance the weight of the lens. Make a new mount by thinning the plastic to about 1/3 inch and moving the tripod mount plate to a trench the thickness of the plate in the new mount. If you wish to keep the original tripod mount, skip the trench and simply recess a nut into the back side before gluing. Make the new mounts for the right handle. Remove the handle and unscrew the plastic plate on the inside of the handle. Remove the weights from this cavity and replace the cover. Screw the handle onto the mounts you fabricated and carefully glue into position. A modified Adele clamp makes a good lanyard mount. Fabricate a handle and mounts out of 1/2 inch stock. I kept the slant on the handle to match the right one. The case is too light over the view screen after the lens and weighting is added, so one of the plates removed from the right handle was reshaped and mounted to the new left handle to control this. Grind the other plate down to match the profile of the weights in the WWDC1 weight kit and add it to the stack of 4 in the kit. The original long thumb screw will be too short, so replace it. Users complained about the thumb screw coming loose in use, so I used an Allen cap screw instead. It can be easily tightened and does not come loose in use. The screw head will be the lowest part on the case, so using a rounded one reduces the chance it will hang up on something. The camera will be front heavy, so more weight is needed. Stick-on wheel weights are an easy non-permanent solution. Some can be mounted inside the case. There is space on the floor behind the camera base for a few. Weights placed high on the back of the case can potentially block visibility of the activity lights and should be avoided. Use of the BP-819 extended battery is recommended, but will leave almost no space directly behind the camera. More weights can be affixed to the weight stack on the new mount instead. I used about 4 ounces. This still leaves the camera front heavy, with a center of gravity about 1 inch ahead of the handle. In use, it feels steady and easily maneuverable, so I stopped there. To further improve balance, flotation rings can be slipped over the lens barrel. These were made from 1/2-inch flex sprinkler riser tubes and joined with nylon barbs. A pair will support 2.5 ounces. Will they collapse or leak under pressure? I'll find out on the next dive. The case with camera and standard battery weighs 2.7 pounds, and the rig as modified weighs 5.7 pounds. Underwater, it weighs 1 pound. When not shooting, you can clip it to your BC and forget about it. You'll have both hands free to climb the boat ladder. You can get a steady shot holding it with one hand if you need to brace yourself with the other. I commend Canon on a decision to market these products. Wouldn't it be nice if they would redesign them to make modifications unnecessary? Wide-angle lenses, equivalent to about a 24mm lens, are not unusual on consumer cameras. Why not make one standard on these cameras? A domed port, just large enough to maintain a field of view underwater, could replace the flat port. Since a decent aftermarket lens is upwards of $200, this could be done with a price increase of around $200. It would still be a bargain. But why stop there? With white balance adjustment accessible underwater and better low-light behavior, performance could be pushed beyond the consumer class.